Two, one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're glad that you're here. Wanted to talk about something that just literally popped up this morning in my feed, and Steve has talked about it too. So I'm whittled down my Facebook groups to just a handful because that's all I have time for and that's all I'll put up with. And one of them is run really well. I'm going to put the name down in the description so that if you're interested in coming to Thailand, you can send them a note and see what I'm talking about. So one of the things that came up in the group just today, so new members, when they come in, they, sometimes they post pictures of themselves, sometimes they post pictures of their dogs or whatever, and say, hey, thanks for the ad. So this woman, I want to say she was probably in her 50s, maybe mid 50s, attractive, nice, puts up a picture of herself and says, hey, thanks for the Expat. I'm coming to Hua Hin on this date. I look forward, and that was it. So literally 2 or 3 days later, she posts another post that says, I'm sorry I posted the picture. The response I got surprised me and saddened me. So the moderator, the administrator responded and actually cleaned up the post and deleted a bunch of people. And one of the terms that came up, and Steve and I have talked about, toxic expats that come here. But one of the terms that I learned that I think is absolutely appropriate is called LBH. And this was brought up in this group and we talked about it, and I agree with it 110%. LBH stands for losers back home. And I don't want to be negative on this video. However, it's a real challenge. It's a real problem. So LBH is a real thing. It's people who are absolutely unhappy with their life in America or wherever they are, and then they come here and they're absolutely unhappy here. Steve talked about using this time to transform your life into something new, and I totally agree with that. I mean, I am so deep into martial arts and Muay Thai now, more so than, I did it for 10 years back in America, and I wasn't as involved as I am now. And I did it 10 years ago, and I had a great group of people, and I loved being in that group. But here, it's even bigger for me here, because I have more time. When I was doing martial arts in America, I also kept a job. So I was doing it usually at lunchtime, sometimes at night. Night classes were a little tougher because I was a little younger, and so it's a little rougher. So I preferred the day classes because the people were a little bit older, more mature. And quite frankly, I don't want to work out with a white belt who has something to prove. I will get into a ring and spar and work out with an instructor or a fighter all day long. Why? They got nothing to prove. And usually they're very great guys and they're helpful. I'm going down a rabbit hole. Let's get back to LBH. I believe, and I actually even posted this, that the internet has brought out this whole crazy behind the keyboard type of a mentality. I was a hiring manager in Silicon Valley for years. And I worked for a huge company that really needed help with HR. And I'm not an HR guy. If you knew me in person, I'm the least HR friendly person you'll ever meet. However, common sense prevails with me. I had to tell people, you don't talk to people that way. You don't touch people. And that's crazy. You have to tell adults. So one of my rules that I taught my new hires is, look, you don't talk to anybody. You talk to people like you're talking to your grandparents. I had great grandparents. I loved them. I respected them. I think I cursed one time in front of my grandfather, and, I never did it again. And I only heard him curse one time in the whole 50, 60, decades that I loved him. I never heard my grandmother curse. But that's not the point. The point is that I taught people to talk to people like it's a family member. And that way you won't get into trouble. And of course, you don't unwanted touch strangers. You would think that these things wouldn't have to be said. But getting back to LBH, I don't know what your situation is in America or what your situation is in whatever country you're in. I want to say that I see a lot of posts, a lot of smug people, well, you couldn't get a girlfriend or you couldn't get a job, that's why you came here. And I've actually heard a couple of locals say that, well, you're here to steal our women or something stupid like that. And I want to tell you that many of the expats that I deal with, and I'm in the minority here in Thailand, I really am. So I have just a handful of American friends. My Nordic friends is probably in, the 30s and 40s. And that's people from Finland, Sweden, just all that group, Greenland, and Spain and Italy. These are my friends now. There's not that many Americans here. The point being is that, even with that, you still run into the LBH syndrome of people that were unhappy in whatever country they were in. And then they come here and they're unhappy here too. And I don't know how that can be. I look out the windows at night, and even today, it's a beautiful day here in Hua Hin, Thailand. The sun is out. It's going to be not a cloud in the sky for the next week, 2 weeks. Food is good. Food is cheap. Health is good. Knock wood. So everything is good. The point of this video is that we're starting to see more and more people call out LBHers. And I won't put up with them on the page, on the YouTube page. And I'm here to tell you that people like that are causing other people to step back from either YouTube or Facebook because they just don't want to put up with it. And, I know we have mutual friends, all of us do, that, I'm here in part because, Steve wanted to step back. He wanted to have some time. And I don't blame him. He's been doing this for 5 years, and he's still doing it. He's still helping us out. He's still helping you out. So with that being said, don't come here and be an LBH. Don't do it. Like Steve said in the last video, use this time to transform yourself into the person that you really want to be. Not the grumpy, scrolling, angry person that we see so much in America, that you and I came here to get away from. I have friends that, constantly want to do things here with me in Thailand. I have my own agenda. And by that I mean I want to, this is our time, this is our chapter to do and be what we want. Why be angry? Why be unhappy? So with that in mind, like Steve said in the last video, this is kind of dovetailing that. Use your time now, here, whether it's the Philippines or whether it's Thailand or Vietnam. I have another friend, an interesting friend, who's actually, I think I talked about him. He's getting ready to launch into Mexico. So he was in the Philippines, he went to Thailand, back to the Philippines, and now he's off to Mexico. Good for him. This is the time to travel and explore. I'd be interested to know what you think, what your thoughts are, friendly thoughts. This is Rich in Thailand and in Philippines, wishing you a good day.